Peter's new coat. Peter was a strong and reliable heavy goods engine. Ever since he arrived on the Northwestern Railway, he had worked hard pulling long goods trains across the island. But unlike the bright blues, greens, and reds of the other engines, Peter had always been painted plain black. He didn't mind. A proper heavy goods engine doesn't need fancy paint, he would say. But some of the other engines thought differently. One evening, Peter was resting in the sheds when Thomas and James arrived. "Peter," said Thomas, "have you ever thought about being painted a different color?" "HMPH," sniffed James. "Black is so dull. I think you'd look splendid in red, like me." Peter chuckled. "I don't need a bright color to do my job, James. I care about pulling my trains, not looking fancy." James huffed. "Well, I still think you'd look better in something else." Just then, the Fat Controller walked up. "Peter," he said, "you've been a really useful engine for many years. I think it's time for a change. How would you like a new coat of paint?" Peter was surprised. "A new coat of paint, sir?" The Fat Controller nodded. "You've worked hard, and I think it's only right that you stand out among the engines. You shall be repainted." Peter thought for a moment. He didn't want something too flashy, but he did like the idea of something new. "Could I be painted blue, sir?" he asked. "Of course." The Fat Controller smiled. Over the next few days, Peter stayed at the works while the painters carefully covered his black paint with a bright, rich blue. They even gave him red lining to match his wheels. At last, the work was done. When Peter saw his reflection, he smiled proudly. "I look splendid," he said. The other engines agreed. Thomas, Gordon, and Edward all whistled cheerfully when they saw him. "You almost look like one of us now," laughed Gordon. "And not a moment too soon," said James. "You look much better in color." Even Peter had to admit, his new coat of paint felt special. But as he pulled his first train in his new blue livery, he grinned. "New paint or not, I'll always be a strong heavy goods engine." And with a cheerful whistle, Peter steamed away, looking smarter than ever.